Why, hello, you beautiful people. The almighty Crash is back to give you another tale about my never-ending struggle to function as a human being. And I'm alone. Again. I got the go-ahead from Culture to do another one of these Storytime videos thanks to your amazing support on my last one. So, today's video is going to be about a topic which is likely the most important thing in existence, other than me, of course. I'm talking about my beauty sleep. More accurately put, how I get ready for that beauty sleep and what has happened as a result of it. As some of you may already know, Culture and I have already gone over sleeping and dreaming plenty of times before, but this time is different. This time, I call the shots, baby! Let's start with last night, shall we? It was a night like any other night. Before I went to sleep, I brushed my teeth, put on my nightcap, grabbed my stuffed frog, Mr. Flips. He was also wearing his nightcap, and I tucked myself in. I closed my eyes and drifted off to Sleepy Time Junction, where I dreamt of fluffy clouds and punching Culture in his stupid face. All right, you got me. I didn't drift off to Sleepy Time frickin' Junction. I was up till 6 in the morning staring at the ceiling and wondering if Mr. Flip could actually talk. Listen, I need your guys' help. I can't sleep. Every night I try to get some shut-eye, and I just can't when I need to, and when I finally do pass out, I should be getting up. I've been this way for years. Ask Mr. Flips. He'll tell ya. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I look up new ways to fall asleep online all the time, and they all suck ass. I tried reading a book, but whenever I try that, I end up just getting really into the story and can't stop reading. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm an intellectual too. I've tried drinking a glass of milk, but 1, it doesn't help, and 2, have you ever tried drinking a glass of milk after brushing your teeth? It's honestly the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life. Mountain Dew is way better. Speaking of which, I've also tried downing a ton of caffeine a few hours beforehand, hoping to crash and fall asleep at a reasonable hour. All it did was force me to stay up for even longer, playing tic-tac-toe with Mr. Flip for hours on end. Mr. Flips can be a strategic mastermind when he wants to be. I've tried doing yoga, I've tried watching movies, I've tried running 80 laps around my living room sofa, nothing works! And if you're wondering whether or not this is starting to have any effect on my health, don't worry too much. I'm perfectly fine during the day. I pride myself in being the best night owl on the planet. You may be concerned, but when Mr. Flip starts to finally talk to you after all these years, then you'll understand. You'll all understand! Man, Mr. Flips, if you could talk, we'd be the coolest duo in the world. We'd be like Mario and Yoshi, except I wouldn't just abandon you after every cliff.
Hey, Crash.
Oh my God! Mr. Flips, you just spoke!
Come over here, man.
Of course, buddy!
Get up, let's go already.
Oh, freaking course, Mr. Flips, we are gonna be unstoppable! Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, Chip and Dale, Culture and Crash with far less culture!
Crash, stop speaking to that dumb frog toy and get out here. We've got a video to film.
Sure, the voice I heard from Mr. Flips could have just been Culture outside of my room the whole time, but I don't know, he really did give off some froggy vibes. Anyway, I'm at my wit's end here. Sleeping is a lot harder for me now compared to back when I was a kid. I used to sleep like a brick. I was such a deep sleeper, in fact, the house could have been on fire and I'd still be out cold, dreaming of punching Culture's stupid face. Anyways, now that I think back on it, I feel like I remember roughly when all this began. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and Daddy Crash came home from another one of his overnight business trips with a really old, dirty crate in his hand. I was in the living room, probably playing whatever hip new video game was out at the time, and my dad came in and dropped the crate down right in front of me. I always had a hard time understanding him when he came home from a trip. I always assumed it's because he spent all night talking about stocks and graphs. When he gave me the crate, I'm pretty sure he said, "I found this out back, have fun." Either that, or "Don't touch this, I'll be right back." It really didn't matter because you knew damn well little baby Crash was gonna crack open that sucker like a bag of Doritos. My dad left to go grab something from the garage, so I smashed the crates open with a few bowling trophies my dad had left over from the good old days, and I couldn't believe my eyes. My dad had gone out and gotten me my very own plush frog. I'll be honest, I was pretty confused because I used to think that stuffed toys were for pussies, but something about that green boy really clicked with me. Tickled my fancy, if you will. My dad came back from the garage a few minutes later with a blowtorch, but when he saw I was already playing with my new best friend, having the time of my life, he said, "Flip it," and walked out. Either that or fuck it, but when I heard those words, I knew what I had to do. I named my newfound partner Mr. Flips. I had decided the name Mr. Fucks wasn't appropriate, and he's been with me ever since. I didn't find out what that blowtorch was for until a bit later in the story. As the night grew colder, Mr. Flips and I went up to my room to catch some Z's. Everything was as it usually was until I rested my head on my pillow. I swear to you, I'm not making this up, but when I closed my eyes, I heard a bump come from my closet. I jolted up as fast as physically possible and stared the closet down like it was my sworn enemy. I got up and slowly tiptoed my way, all ninja-like, to the door. I slowly opened it, and there was nothing there. Literally nothing startling. All my clothes were hanging up and all my toys were neatly put away. I must have imagined the thud. Honestly, I was so bummed out. I was expecting to get a good jump scare or something, but all I got was a waste of my goddamn time. I went back to bed, snuggled back next to Mr. Flips, and continued on my journey to Sleepsville. But again, I got woken up by something else. There was another thud, and this time I knew I wasn't imagining it. I got up and noticed it sounded like it was coming from the window this time. I walked over to the window and slowly drew back my curtains to... Again, nothing. Like, honestly, come on. There was just a stupid dead tree and a man standing out in the driveway in a black trench coat and a top hat staring at me. I was expecting something hair-raising, something nerve-wracking. Of course, I sighed and I was about to head back to sleep a third time when I heard another thud. This time, it was coming from the halls. I knew I had to get to the bottom of this, so I grabbed Mr. Flips and my hockey stick and headed out into the dark abyss that was my house at night. I really couldn't see anything. I regretted taking the stick over a flashlight or something, but it was too late to turn back. I could have, but by the time I thought of it, I really didn't know where I was in the house. All I could do was follow the noise, and eventually it led me to my parents' room. The door was shut, but the noise was definitely coming from there. I knew what I had to do. I took a deep breath, hugged Mr. Flips tight, put the stick to my side, and slowly turned the doorknob. Nothing. And I mean absolutely nothing could have prepared me for what I witnessed. Got you there, didn't I? I don't even feel like sharing it out loud, but let's just say once you see your parents getting freaky, that image never leaves your mind. Ever. Horrified, mortified, absolutely traumatized, I managed to shuffle back to my room unnoticed and planned to lay down and try to forget. But when I got back to my room and opened the door a crack, there was the same dumb man in a black coat just standing right there in the corner of my room. Like, why? I need my privacy, man. I was so messed up from a few minutes prior that I didn't even know how to react. And then the man came over to me, bent down and pointed to Mr. Flips. He was like,
"Hey kid, can I have my frog back? I lost it in a bet against your dad earlier tonight." "Hey, it's my daughter's. She loves that thing. You see, your father and I got into somewhat of an argument after he won the bet, and he's threatened to light the frog on fire and return its ashes to my daughter through the mail. That's so messed up. I hope you don't grow up to be such an obnoxious, irrational jerk like him."
Wait a second! My dad came back from the garage a few minutes later with a blowtorch, but when he saw I was already playing with my new best friend, oh my god! I saved the little guy's life! I looked at the strange man dead in the eyes, or I couldn't tell if he had to be honest. He was in pretty bad shape. I told him that he must be mistaken, that Mr. Flips was my new best friend, because he was and still is, and the man stood straight up again and looked at me like I was insane. He scratched his beard, said, "Flip it," and threw himself out of my window from whence he came. Well, either that or my drunk-ass father ran into the room butt naked with an erection and spear-tackled the guy out of the building. By this point, I was exhausted, so I finally got in my bed, cuddled close to my green boy, and prepared to stop by the junction. But what I got instead were horrific nightmares of that scene of absolute horror that I witnessed a few minutes earlier! And now, whenever I try to fall asleep, that image just keeps popping into my head, and it won't go away! But yeah, that's my nightly struggle. Nothing can seem to remedy me. Like I said at the beginning, I've tried pretty much everything. If you have any suggestions other than memory removal, I'd love to hear them. I'm sure Mr. Flip would love to hear them too. Isn't that right, little buddy? Right, well, I have to go knock myself out with a hammer again to get some sleep. I'll leave you in the hands of my best bud here.
What a shit story.
If you enjoy what we do here at Culture Crash, please consider supporting the show via our Patreon, where we have a bunch of awesome rewards, or by checking out our online store. All links are in the description below.